Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're here to review the previous week, which was I think the 4th week of May 2024. So I'm using this planner here, which is my catch-all planner. This used to be my work planner, but I only use this one nowadays, so I call it my catch-all planner. So this is a new video idea I had because I am currently having to do a end of week review. So I wanted to film a video about this and check if you guys would like to see more. So I have this little queue here that I'm going to follow. This has all the steps I need to follow for my end of the week review. So first things first, we're going to check if all the daily sheets are completed, and if not, we are going to complete them as best as possible. Now, today is Saturday, so not all of my daily sheets are going to be completed. As you can see, Sunday is not completed, and I am filming this right now at midday, so I don't have anything else written down here, but I'll be doing this by the end of the day. Anyway, so as you can see, I used my planner quite a bit this week, so it's pretty full. I don't have to update anything on the dailies, so we can move on to the next step, which is to update the weekly section, crossing out the meetings that didn't happen and counting the hours spent on each deliverable and project. So this planner here is my catch-all planner, but it's very focused on my job, so I use it to track how many hours I spent on each task and project. That's why this is a very important step for me. I'm just going to remove these pages so it's easier to work with. So let's check first all of the meetings that I had and see if any of them got canceled or moved. So on Monday, I only had one meeting, which was this one, which is right here, and I also went to the gym. Then on Tuesday, I had this first meeting here and then another one later. And finally, this one that didn't happen. It usually doesn't happen, but I like to write it down anyway. And I also went to the gym. Then on Wednesday, I had two meetings. I had the sprint planning here during the morning and the knowledge sharing during the afternoon, so I don't need to update anything here. On Thursday, I had these meetings here that I mistakenly put here on Friday, but I'm not gonna change it. I'm just going to leave it as is. I didn't go to the gym because I had a job interview, so I'm going to write down that I had this job interview. Now, I'm not actively looking for a job because I am employed, but this opportunity came about through LinkedIn, so I just thought it was a good idea to try and have this interview and check what the job was about and if it was any better than the one I have right now. But I don't think I made the best interview ever. The area that they want me to work on, I have worked on previously, but it's not my area of focus right now. So it has been a while since I last used the software they are requiring. I don't think this would be a problem. I think I can get back into it pretty quickly, but for me to make a move right now in terms of jobs, I have to gain a lot. So I will only accept if the offer is very, very good. Otherwise, I'm very comfortable where I'm at the moment. And lastly, we have Friday. Friday I only had I had no meetings and I went to the gym, so I'm not going to move this to Thursday. I'm just going to leave it here. Okay, that's done. Now let's see what else we have here. We have to count the hours spent on each project. So let me get back onto Monday and we'll see how many projects I worked on Monday. So I actually wrote this down previously because I thought this was going to take a while. So it's written down here. It's not pretty nor neat. It's just the information that I need. So on Monday, I worked on this project here, which is 70002, and I worked 1 hour on this. I also work on the 75049, and I worked 2 hours on it. And then finally 53068, and I worked 5 hours and a half. On Tuesday, I actually worked on a lot of projects on Tuesday. 70002, and I worked half an hour on that. I worked on the 70020, and that was 2 hours. And then I worked on the 75025, and this was 2 hours as well. I worked on the 75049. This was 2 hours, 3 hours and a half. So 3 hours and a half. And finally, I worked on the 53068, and this was half an hour. Usually I like to work on a maximum of 3 projects per day, but sometimes a lot of tasks come about for each different project, so I end up having to work on different projects throughout the day, which is not the best because I lose focus and it's easier to make mistakes, but sometimes that's what we have to do. On Wednesday, I worked half an hour on the 02. I work 1 hour and a half on the 25, so there it is. And then I worked 6 hours and a half on the 53068. This is the main project I'm working on at the moment, so it's probably going to be the project that has the most hours during the week because I'm covering for my colleague. We usually work in pairs, and we are working with 2 different tests right now. So I was responsible for one of them, and then my colleague was responsible for the other one. But he's on vacation, so I'm covering for him. That's why I have so many hours this week for this project. But that's usually actually how it goes because there's a lot of calculations and going back and forth. So a lot of hours are spent on this project. Now on Thursday, I spent 2 hours on 02. I spent 3 hours and a half in 75025, so 3 hours and a half. And I spent 3 hours on the 53068. Finally, on Friday, I spent 1 hour and a half in the 70002. I spent 4 hours and a half in the 75025. This is a project I'm giving support on. I just need to check some calculations that were made, and that's why it's taking a little bit of time, because for you to check calculations, it does take time, and you have to be very careful and certain that everything you're doing is correct. So that's why I spent so many hours on that, but I'm done with this task. And what I can do now is just help my colleague that is on vacation by writing the report on it, or I can wait for him to come back so he can write it. But I think I'm gonna help him because he's probably going to have a lot of things to do when he's back. But that's going to be for next week. Okay, that's all that we have, and now I need to write down how many hours I spent on each tasks for these projects. So I have written it down here as well. I'm just going to get you a little bit closer so you can see. So let's start. Let me see what I did last week, how I did this. I don't think oh, actually it was here all along. Let's go back. So last week I did it like this. I started with 53068, so I think I'm going to do this as well. So 53068, and this is only for me to know what I was working on. If anyone asks, I have it written down somewhere. No one has ever asked me, but it's something that I like to have. So I'm going to write down first support for T1. T1 is the test that I was not responsible for. This is for my colleague, but since he's away, I am covering for him. So I spent 3 hours and a half this week on that. I also spent hours on support for T3, which is the test I am responsible for. This was just half an hour because I had a meeting about it, so half an hour. Then I had some commissioning data that I had to go through. So this took a while. This actually took 11 hours. Most of my time was spent here. There you go. And I also had to review a procedure for T3, and this took only 1 hour. I also had to write the partial report for T3, and this took 2 hours. I still have to update this, but this is going to be going for next week. I think that's all for this project, and then we're going to move on to 70002. So here I have organize, OneNote, meetings, ETS, and load. I don't know what load is, but I'm going to write down organize and email. This was 1.5 hours. Then I had my ETS, which was half an hour. I also had meetings, which was 3.5 hours, just like last week. And that's all for this project. Then we have project 70020, in which I only worked in one thing, which was the dissection report review after comments. And this took 2 hours, pretty quick. Then I had the 75025, which I worked on the stress review. Excel file, because we also have a report, and this took 11.5 hours, so quite a bit of time. And finally I have one last project, but I don't think I'll have enough space here, so I think I'm going to move this right here. So it's 75049. This project I worked on support. So for support I had 1.5 hours, and then for MDR I had 2 hours, TDRF I had 1 hour, and then for meetings I had a 1 hour as well. And that's all for these projects. Okay, so we are done here. Let me grab my highlighters. I need to find a couple of them because I don't know where they are. So I'll get back just a second. I just need to find them. I couldn't find the original yellow marker, but I got another one. Yes, I have 2 packs of my outliner. I really love them, so I don't want to be without them. And that was a good choice because now I couldn't find the highlighter. Anyway, so let's start with the yellow. So yellow is this project here, 75049. I'm just going to highlight the name of the number of the project, and I am also going to highlight the boxes, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm going to write here all of the project numbers and also how many hours I spent on each one of them. So this is going to be the usual projects I have worked on the past weeks. And these ones are the projects that I don't usually work on, but I had to work on this week. So there are only 2. And this one, let me see how many hours I spent on each one of these projects. So first off, the 49 was 5.5 hours. The 25 was 11.5 hours. The 20 was just 2 hours. The 68 was 18 hours in total. And the 02 was 5.5 hours. So these were all the hours I spent this week on each project. Now, I think I'm going to use green for 02. There you go. And then purple for the 68. I just do that so it looks a little bit more colorful. I like also to use colors not only for functional purposes but also for decoration. Now this one is going to be red, like this, and this one is going to be blue. And there you go. We have all of the projects and all of the tasks that we have done this week. And that's the review part of the planning or of the end of the week. So we are done with step 2. Now step 3 is to update the monthly meal control with all the meals of the week. Okay, let's go back and let me just put this right here. Actually, it's this way. There we go. And this goes right here. Perfect. So let's go to the monthly meal control. Is this part right here? I'm going to grab this and we're going to see what we need to update. So I don't have the 20th. Let me see if I wrote down what I 8, starting on the 20th. It's a little bit too bright, I think. Let me just get it down a little bit. So I think this way you can see better. So the 20th, I had breaded chicken, rice, beans, and salad. And then for dinner, I had bread and butter. I'm not doing very good with the dinner part, but for lunch, I think that's okay. Now on Tuesday, I had salmon salad, and shrimp risotto. And for dinner, I had stroganoff, which is a chicken dish. Then for lunch on Wednesday, I had breaded steak, rice, and vegetables. For dinner, I didn't put dinner here, so I'm not going to write anything. But I think I only had bread and butter as well. So I'm going to write bread and butter. And then on Thursday, I had for lunch chicken fillet, smashed potato, and vegetables. And for dinner, I had stroganoff again. Now I think it's a little too dark. I think that's better. Then on Friday, I had stroganoff for lunch. And for dinner, I had pasta with ham and broccoli. And then today, I don't know yet what I'm going to have, so I'm just going to leave it blank. So this part is done. Let's go back and put it right here where it belongs. And the fourth step in our list is to update the habit tracker on the monthly section. So let's go ahead and go back to the habits tracker. Here it is. So the only thing that I need to update here is that I'm going to post a video today on YouTube, and I'm also going to post on Instagram, so I'm just going to write that down. And I also did exercise on Friday and today during the morning. So that's how we are with our habits. Fifth thing is going to be update the monthly section with the main events and check which tasks have been completed. So let's go back into the monthly. There it is. So for the monthly, the only things that I need to update are here. So Friday, I'm just going to write down that I took the cats to the vet. So let me see what I'm going to use to write that. I think I'm going to use this little sticky note. It's not a sticky note, it's a tab, page flag. So page flag here, just to write down that I took the cats to the vet. So I'm going to write that was at around 8, took cats to the vet. And let me check if I have any kind of sticker for that. My cat is actually crying outside because he wants to come in. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to let him in at the moment. Okay, so I have these stickers here. I think I'm going to use one of them. This one. Just because I think it's pretty. There you go. So take cats to the vet, and that was done. I don't think I had anything else important to write down here, so I'm just going to cross like I do for every day that has passed. And then I'm going to cross Saturday and Sunday at the end of the week. Okay, these were the main events for the week. Now to the tasks. I have monthly tasks and I have weekly tasks. First, I'm going to go over to the weekly. Let me see if I can find my marker. There you go. And also the pen I use on this sheet here. So the only things that are missing are update partial report for T3. This is going to be done next week. So I'm just going to put an arrow here. Same thing to update the project folder. I also need to complete ETS. I'm going to do this right now because I just needed to do my end of the week process, so I know exactly how many hours I spent on each project. So I'm just going to check that, and then check Rainbow Cracks doc is going to be for next week as well. I don't actually want to do this task here, but People are requiring me to do it. I don't think it's my job to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So these 3 here are going over to next week. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a new sheet for next week. I actually folded it. There you go. Okay, I need to be more careful with these sheets here. Now, this is going to be May week 5, and we're going to first write down all of these that need to be done. So we need to update the partial report for T368. We also need to update the project folder for this project here. I'm going to write this task here as the last thing. We need to check if there's anything else that has to be done this month that I haven't gotten into yet. So let's get back to the monthly. So I have here the partial report, rigging proof of T3, the template, and the stress document. Okay, so I'm going to write down that I need to, let me see, do the rigging proof for T3. So this is a document I can make next week. I also have next week to save T1 data. I need to do this weekly for this project. I also have to update the commissioning report for T3. Let's see what else I need to do. I need to do for the 75025 the RLI stress doc. If I can, this is going to help my colleague. It's not my work, but I think it's going to help him a lot. So I'm probably going to do this. And then all the other things I won't be able to get into. I am waiting on a person here, so I can't finish this task. Okay, I think that's all that we have for this week for now. So last thing is going to be to check the rainbow cracks doc. One thing that I remember that I can kind of get to this week is going to be start the test procedure for this project, just so I have a head start on that, because I know next month I'll need to finish this. And there was something else that I had on my mind. Oh yeah, I need to correct a report, the partial report for T1. I saw a mistake that needs to be corrected, so I'm going to do that. And finally, my weekly tasks in terms of YouTube, I need to film. But yeah, let's go back, because I actually created a new half page sheet here with all of the videos that I want to post. So for this week, I'm going to have to film the plan with me for week 1 of June. I need to film the end of week 5 of May. I also want to film the June plan with me, and then I want to film the May flip. And I think these are all of the videos that I want to film this week. Okay, that's all for the weekly tasks. Let's move our marker to next week. And the plan with me is going to be on another video, because this video on itself is quite long. So if you're waiting for the plan with me, it's going to come tomorrow. Okay, finally we got to the bottom, to the end of the list here, which is to check and update the weekly budget. So actually I'm not doing this on this planner. Oh no, I am doing this on this planner. Okay, let's go to the back of the planner, because it's right here. Okay, so this was where I was at until last week. I stopped writing down on the 18th. I need to get my phone and see what else I spent on this week. So I didn't spend a lot this week. The first thing I spent on was actually my pill. So this was $22.99. Then I also spent on the vet. So the vet is going to be vet insurance, and this was 500, so quite expensive. And finally, I also spent on bread today. So this was bread from the bakery. So this was $9.99. So this week I spent only, let me have my ruler here. There you go. So this week I spent $532.98. There you go. So we are done with the update for the budget as well. And that's pretty much it for my weekly end of the week review. Let me go back to the beginning and I'm going to put this back. So now we are ready for our planning for next week, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. Bye bye. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this kind of video and if you'd like me to do more, because I have to do this anyway, so if I film it or not, I'll be doing it. But if it's not interesting to you, I'm not going to film it. Anyway, hope to see you tomorrow in the next video. Bye bye.